I was on a radio show today. It was an iHeart radio show, and the guy, I don't know if he was just trying to pull a question out of me or pull a response from me, or he was disagreeing with me, but he was like, well, it's not that simple to tell people to stop using drugs and stop selling drugs and committing crimes. It's just not that simple. If they stop doing that, then the police will not be in their communities. And I was like, it is that simple, because you're not collectively holding the arms of everybody in the community and saying, kumbaya, let's go together. Let's all stop committing crimes. You're responsible for yourself. So when you wake up in the morning with a pocket of drugs and you say, okay, when I go out today, I'm going to sell this dope, but there's a chance that I can go to jail for life, or I can get killed by somebody else that can rob me. Make the decision at your front door. And if you do your part, then, and everybody do their part, we will see a reduction in crime. We'll see a reduction in police response. And this leads me to my next statement in question for you, because we only got an hour, and I want to do some Q&A at the very end. But like, at what point do we start being accountable as men? Like, I personally believe everything starts with the man. If you want a society that's going to be strong, that's going to be brave, that's going to be courageous, that's going to do the right thing, you need good quality men who are doing the right thing, who are marrying women, who are being great fathers, raising generations of effective leaders, or even children that are just not dummies. So what's your thoughts on the role of men in America and kind of what the woke culture has done to men, especially, I believe, Black men?
Right. I mean, listen, we got Kid Cudi in a dress. We've got Harry Styles in a dress. We've got all of these men that are being systematically convinced that it's a form of power and advancement for them to take on feminine traits. And you have a society that's reinforcing that via toxic feminism, right? You've got all of these women who can't find men, who are bitter to men, who then become the teachers of feminism and teach you that no matter what, it's the patriarchy that's keeping you behind. And that creates a toxic situation because there's no society, I've said 1,000 times, that can survive without strong men. There just isn't. There isn't. I mean, there's never been a time where there's been a war where it wasn't men that were going out there that were winning the wars, right? By and large, men, and women that were helping to win the wars by staying at home, raising good men, raising strong men. God created men to lead and men to be strong. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. I believe in gender roles from the bottom of my heart, but right now gender roles are being undermined. And they're being undermined from the time they get your kid in school. From kindergarten up, they are teaching your kid there's 26 genders. And if you feel like this today, you can be this tomorrow. If you want to be a worm, a butterfly, but you could be convincing them they should be anything but what they actually naturally biologically are. Right? It would be one thing if they presented being themselves as an option, like, hey, you can be a man, but no, they're actually trying to convince them that they can't be a man. And so, what I'm seeing happening right now is something that is sinister. And I say it's sinister because this isn't happening because a bunch of woke people hate America. It's happening because there's another country that's influencing America and wants to cripple it from the inside out. It's a different day. What I mean by that is that you cannot just invade a country the old school way, right? If you want to invade America, you can't just be like, I'm just going to throw a bomb and roll in some trucks to invade America. But if you did want to take over America, if you actually sought to take over the world and you recognize that times are different now, you would have to cripple America from the inside out, right? This is when we start to talk about China. At the same time that America is running this programming that men need to be women, walk around with their tail between their legs, and all these corporations who are largely funded by Chinese people. Chinese people own so much of American products. Everything we touch is made in China, made in China, made in China. At the same time, these corporations are telling us that being a man is wrong. China is running a parallel program to make men more masculine. So you can read that. That's not breaking news. Google BBC China program to make men more manly. So they are trying to systemize making their men more manly while they're trying to weaken our men. If you study foreign policy and you know about China, it has always been after the Belt and Road Initiative, which was that they wanted to turn the influence of people to the East as opposed to people looking for the world influence to the West, right? So this has always been their goal. They had a 100-year plan that was intercepted by the CIA many years ago, which they want to take over the world, plain and simple, right? And if you start to study China and see the way that China is moving, right, even recently at Anchorage, making Joe Biden's Secretary of State looked like a fool. We had a blue-haired girl, right, sitting next to our Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, and China was just talking to us, saying, well, basically, you're not a world power anymore, right? We're the big dogs now. And people are not paying attention to that because we're busy with Black Lives Matter. China is sitting on a stage saying that America has race issues, trying to stoke race issues in America, while at the same time, they have concentration camps for Muslim people, right? You think it's interesting timing that all of a sudden the Stop Asian Hate campaign is starting in America. Oh, what's that going to lead to? The same place the Black Lives Matter campaign led to. It's going to lead to Black Lives Matter campaign. You can't criticize a Black person. Well, the Stop Asian Hate campaign, which makes no sense because we should be talking about Black Americans kill most Asians. It's going to end in a place where the media is going to say you cannot criticize Asian Americans, right at the time where China is suddenly saying we're the new world power. We're not going to be able to criticize China. We're not going to be able to talk about Beijing. We're not going to be able to talk about foreign policy, their initiatives, and they own Hollywood. China owns Hollywood. So all of the stuff that you're seeing is such a perfect ground for China to take over the world, which is what has always been their plan. So I pay attention to that stuff. Well, I can't even focus myself on trying to understand why this little guy wants to loot, because America right now is about to no longer be America. We have a president, Beijing Biden, who loves China, right? China is implementing their 100-year plan. China is owning virtually everything that's in this country. And people don't understand that or see that because they don't study foreign policy. Instead, they're looking for everything to be racist around them.